Satnam, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to yet another in our continuing program, Your Miracle Mantra Moment, where we chant Dhanam Ram Das Guru Jinsiriyate Ne Savarya for 11 minutes, and then we talk for a little while. So I know that many of you will be arriving as I start, and please do put your name in the comments section. Let us know where you're logging in from. Please do share this program and like it, and that will help to get the word out. So good to have you again with us, many of you that are returning to this program quite regularly. And then if it's your first time, nice to see you here. And after I've finished playing the Dandan Ram Das Guru, then I'll take a look at the comments section. And if you have any questions, if you put them in the comments, then I can address those questions. And if you just want to say hi, that'll be great. And I'll appreciate seeing your name there. So we're going to start now. And as I've often said, you can just simply sit silently, or you can chant along with this in a meditative posture. Or if you want to really do this as a powerful meditation, you can use this particular mudra where you take your right thumb up and you wrap your left hand around the thumb. And then you take your right fingers up along the back of your left hand, and you just gently hold that near the center of your heart, center of your chest, at the heart center, and your elbows are relaxed at your sides, and you're sitting straight. Your eyes can be closed or focused at the tip of your nose. And you can chant or sit silently. If you're sitting silently, then just breathe long and deep. And when we do it in that way, this is about releasing any fear that you might have of what's coming, what's the future, what's next. And I know we all can relate to that feeling of a little anxiety around this time of COVID-19 and wondering how the world will get through this. Well, just during this time, just let that fear arise, but then release it with the chant, with the words of the Gurbani, and just bring in Guru Ram Das to manifest this miraculous healing of the planet, healing of the people, healing of the energy around us at the moment, and clearing it and releasing, both as individuals and for the entire world. All right? Ramdas Guru Tanna Ramdas Guru Jinn Siriya Tinne Samariya Jinn Siriya Tinne Samariya Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru Up Sir Janare Naria Sikhi Ate Samgati Par Brahm Kar Naam Sakariya Sikhi Ate Samgati Par Brahm Kar Naam Sakariya Par Brahm Kar Naam Sakariya Par Brahm Kar Naam Sakariya Dana 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 Ramdas Guru Dana Dana Ramdas Guru Jin Siriya Tinne Samariya Jin Siriya Tinne Samariya Dana 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 Ramdas Guru Dana Dana Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru Atal Ataho Atol Tera Antan Par Variya Atal Ataho Atol Tera Antan Par Variya Jinni Tu Seriya Bankar Setun Par Utariya Jinni Tu Seriya Bankar Setun Par Utariya Setun Par Utariya Setun Par Utariya Dana 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 Ramdas Guru Dana Dana Ramdas Guru Jin Siriya Tinne Samariya Jin Siriya Tinne Samariya Dana 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 Ramdas Guru Dana Dana Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru Lam Lobh Kam Krodh Moh Mar Khade Tulsa Par Variya Lam Lobh ਕਦੇ ਤੁਰਸ ਪਾਰ ਵਾਰੀਆਂ ਤਨ ਸੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਤਾਮ ਹੈ ਸੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੈਸ ਕਾਰਿਆ ਤਨ ਸੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਤਾਮ ਹੈ ਸੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੈਸ ਕਾਰਿਆ ਸੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੈਸ ਕਾਰਿਆ ਸੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੈਸ ਕਾਰਿਆ ਤਨ 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 ਰਮਦਾਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਤਨ ਤਨ ਰਮਦਾਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਿਨ ਸਿਰਿਆ ਤਿੰਨੇ ਸਵਾਰਿਆ ਜਿਨ ਸਿਰਿਆ ਤਿੰਨੇ ਸਵਾਰਿਆ ਤਨ 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 ਰਮਦਾਸ ਗੁਰੂ Ramdas Guru, Ramdas Guru. Nanak tu रहना तू है गुर अमृत विचारिया नानक तू रहना तू है गुर अमृत विचारिया गुर दिता मन सदारिया गुर दिता मन सदारिया गुर दिता मन सदारिया गुर दिता मन सदारिया जिन सिरिया तिन्ने सवारिया जिन सिरिया तिन्ने सवारिया जिन सिरिया तिन्ने सवारिया जिन सिरिया तिन्ने सवारिया तन 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 Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru Ramdas Guru ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ So, welcome to you all who have come to join us today. And I'm going to move this a little closer so I can see everybody. So we have a bunch of people. Some are regulars and some are new, and that's great. I see Judith and Mitreya, and Kirandeep, of course, one of our regulars. And she again has posted the words if you needed those. And Natalie from Quebec, and Jagdeep from Los Angeles, Pav from England, and Satkriya, of course, a regular, and Leobov, sorry if I mispronounced that, from Belarus. Great to have you with us. Jasveer Singh, welcome. Regina, and Gulzan, and Mahan Sangeet. And let's see, we got some. Okay, so yeah, so here's a question from Judith, or Judith. I don't know if I'm slaughtering your name, I'm sorry. So she asks, can you please explain the meaning or effect of the mudra? Yeah. So there isn't much out there that I could find on this particular mudra because it's not very common. In fact, I've never seen it used in any other meditative practice. But I've been able to sort of extrapolate from what I know of other mudras that are using the various parts of the hands. So this is the ego. So when we protect it with the left hand around, and then we bring it to our heart center. And it's as if we are allowing our own protection created within ourselves to allow that vulnerable place within us, which is where we hold our attachments to and expectations of the future, within our ego-centric self. And I'm not meaning that in a negative way, but we, in our self-identification, we often, that's where our attachments live. And so to be fearful is often about not wanting to be challenged in areas that we are attached to. So if we can protect that, we can feel safe enough, then we can relax those expectations and we can step into whatever actually arrives with fearlessness rather than with fear. So that's what I can tell you about the mudra. And yeah, other than that, I thought I'd talk a little bit about this whole experience that we're having with this mantra or with this shabad. And I interchange those because I feel very clear that there are times when shabad, which means word, or specifically word of the Guru, generally it's referring to the Gurbani, and this is not something that was written by one of the Gurus, but it was composed about the Gurus. And it was considered so valuable, so important, that it was included in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. And so we chant it, we sing it in a meditative approach. And, you know, you can have an experience with it. And I hope most of you are having some kind of a positive experience with it. But as we practice it, as we approach it, as a meditation, it's useful, I think, to talk a little bit about, well, what is that meditative experience that we can have with these words, with these sounds, right? So we first of all have to understand, what is meditation? What are we stepping into when we sit down and decide to meditate? So it's a lot of different things to different people. You know, if you ask a dozen people, you'll get a different answer each time. But I think that people tend to agree that that meditation is a technology that allows us to connect to our inner self, or our primary self, or our divine self, if you will, our elevated self. And that another thing that meditation achieves is that it allows the dialogue, the monkey mind, just to move to the side, so that there's a level of stillness that can be achieved within this meditative space that we open inside ourselves. And within that stillness, we get to have kind of an inner dialogue, an inner understanding, not so much about literally words, but more about just dwelling in that inner silence and gaining understanding about ourselves non-verbally. And it's a chance that we can get in touch with our self again. Maybe we feel like life has sort of overwhelmed a lot of our connection to who we actually are, who we remember ourselves to be from our earliest awarenesses. And meditation creates space for us to be able to reflect and understand that. It's a bit like hitting a reset button, you know, within ourselves, to reconnect to some of the most primal, the most elemental aspects of ourself in a simple understanding. And why we do it, I think you all have the answer, because we're all just so caught up in our own thoughts that you could say we are addicted to thinking. We are convinced that we can think our way out of any problem. We can think our way through anything. And yet, if we really take time to reflect back through life, it hasn't always been the case. And yes, our mind, our intellect can serve us, but it also tends to enslave us a little bit too at times. And we get caught up in the intrigue of our thoughts. Well, what if? And maybe that reality isn't quite what I see it. Maybe it's something else. And building fantasies or alternate understandings of the world, rather than just accepting and seeing what is. You know, there's no pill that anyone could give us to be able to just make that change on a long-term basis, on an ongoing basis. It is something that we have to find, that doorway, that experience, that doorway to an experience, actually. And so that is what meditation is. It's really a practice that opens that door so that we can have an experience of self in the most profound and elemental way, and not through our thoughts, but rather through our experience, through our intuitive knowing, rather than through our intellectual knowing. There are lots of psychological and physiological benefits. Physiologically, you know, it lowers your blood pressure. It allows your respiratory rate to go down, your breathing to slow down. It lets your heart rate slow down. And then there's the psychological benefits that, it can break the destructive mental patterns that we pick up, that we create, that we hang on to out of insecurity or whatever, Some things we've learned, some things we've created ourselves about the way we respond to life. And it can also give us the strength to break the emotional cycle. It can give us the strength to not have to fall into an emotional collapse at each challenge that we encounter in life. So these are great benefits that a meditative practice can do for us. And in our Kundalini Yoga teachings, we have this concept of sadhana, daily practice, and especially to do it in the morning. That's a very special time to be able to do that. But as we start the practice, what we encounter is that it's not just you turn a corner and now everything is different. That door that I talked about, it takes a while to be able to open it and keep it open to any extent. And so it's very much like peeling an onion. There's a layer and you peel that one day, and then maybe the next day you're not quite there yet with another layer, but it's there, and then slowly that layer falls away. And so it's a continuing effort that takes you down that road of discovery, self-discovery, inner self-discovery. And that journey inward is really something that is subtle. It's hard to discern the progress sometimes, and it's easy to get disappointed or to think that you're not moving fast enough. But it's my experience that people move at the appropriate speed for them when it comes to going deeper in their meditative practice. Because if you just dive deep and have like the deepest experience in the moment, that's great, and it can change the way you see things a lot. But ultimately, it's the daily visiting of this space, of this meditative space, that allows you to really step into long-lasting change in your life. So it's a shifting journey. The landscape changes slowly, but with positive attitude, you'll notice these little changes. I remember I encountered one line of Gurbani while reading in the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, and it was like this big signpost for me. It just really sort of woke me up and made me realize a lot. It made me take pause and start to see things a little differently. And it's a very simple, short line of Gurbani. Manmukh Dukhiya, Gurmukh Sukhiya. And what that means is that Manmukh, the person who is only referencing from their mind, that they are going to end up only caught in a cycle of pain, right? But Gurmukh Sukhiya means the one who is tuned into their higher consciousness, their higher self, their divine self, through the words of the Guru or the connection to the Guru. That person will experience Sukhiya, or blissful life. And it just proved right every time I put it to the test. Whenever I was confused or down, I would look at that line and I would realize, oh, okay, then I just need to practice. I need to reconnect to my deeper self so that I can have perspective, so that I can understand and not just be caught in trying to think my way through everything. And so when we chant, when we do this practice of Dandan Ram Das Guru and other shabads and other mantras, what we're doing is we're in a meditative way, we're bringing into our mind a pattern, a new pattern of sound and prayer, intentional prayer that takes the place of all those thoughts that get you in trouble, basically. So we allow that the space of our mind to be taken up by these words of higher consciousness. And even if we don't know what every word means, it doesn't matter. But just the intention that we're holding while we're circulating these sounds and these words then creates the space within ourselves to attune, to witness our own connection to the infinite, to the divine. And as we approach this practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're bringing into it an element of prayer. We are prayerful that COVID-19 should come to an end, that not more people should not suffer, that we ourselves are spared any problem with that, and that the world, all of us, emerge through this in a better place. Each of us as individuals, but also as society, as humanity, that we step forward out of this time with a renewed understanding of who we are, who we want to be, how we want to function with each other, how we want to take care of our planet. All of those things need to be adjusted through this time. It's like this is a big chiropractic adjustment for the whole planet, that we are, being asked to reevaluate, shift our energy. And so I hope you're getting that as we practice this Dandan Ram Das Guru, and yes, you can use this time to send healing energy to loved ones or everyone or yourself. But it's also about just allowing yourself these few moments, these 11 minutes, to open into deep meditation and experience yourself, your inner self, your divine self, and allow that understanding to permeate and just take root, so that then, for the rest of your day, you still feel connected. You have that connection from that 11 minutes that you carry with you throughout your day. And that's the thing about meditation and prayer, is that it takes practice. It's not going to happen just in one go. You're not going to just sit down and have a sudden perfect experience and then you never have to do it again. It is something that does actually get more effective the more you do it. So yes, we bring faith, we bring openness, we bring our love, our compassion in this moment, but we have to also bring discipline, and so that we do this on a regular basis. There's a great saying it's a line of Gurbani in the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, and it basically says, when the roof of your house is on fire, is not the time to begin to dig your well. In other words, you don't need to wait until you're in crisis to begin practicing a meditation or prayer, but rather you should be in the regular practice of connecting to that place within yourself, even when there isn't crisis, even when there is no challenge, because it's that regular practice of getting into that space, opening the door, being in that space and being able to hold that energy. That regularity is going to make it much easier when there is crisis, when there is something that you really need help with. Then that practice, that tool, that technology will be that much stronger for you in that moment of crisis. Let me see. We have a few questions I want to just take a look at. And so this question from Mudar and Mother, right? Mother of, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that if I take it even further. But anyway, her question is, do we need to sing the mantra with this specific rhythm? No, absolutely not. Oh, mantra pavan. Thank you for putting that mantra pavan car. Much easier to say for me. Anyway, no, these words can be done in different rhythms. I play a couple of different melodies, different rhythms, and there's lots of recordings out there of this particular Shabad mantra that are in various different rhythms. So yeah, they're all fine. Doesn't change the effect of the words. Let's see. Let's see what Pav Singh has to say. When going through some deep reflection or experiencing some realization, soon after I notice I have extreme levels of anxiety. Sometimes it's so physically inside. Is this normal, and is there a way to overcome it? So, Pav Singh, great question. And I think that this is not that uncommon. Although I have to say I've never actually had that experience myself. I always feel kind of in a glow afterwards. And so I can't say I've noticed feelings of anxiety. But if you are, that's okay. I would say that perhaps you need to then just spend a little time, perhaps another 10 minutes, just breathing, slow and long, deep breathing. You can place I'm going to move your question out of the way. You can place your left hand on your chest and your right hand over that, and just breathe slow, long, deep breaths in and out. And, even if you were only doing that for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, that would help you, I think, and you could try that. So Satkriya has asked a question about Sukhmani Sahib, and Sukhmani Sahib translates as Sukhmani is a lagoon or a body of water, a peaceful body of water. And so it's a particular composition and of Gurbani, and it's often used to bless people, specifically if you have a man in your life, or men, son, husband, brother, father, any of those relationships. It's often used in that regard to send a prayer and a blessing for them while you chant Sukhmani Sahib. And I think that's just a very long tradition. I'm not quite sure where it originated, but it's certainly fairly ancient. So let's see. All right. Well, I want to remind you that we'll be back on Thursday for another session, and I hope you can join us then. And please like this program. Please share it. On Friday, of course, as you can see in the rolling text at the bottom of the screen here, that my guest is going to be Tudden Kaur from the UK, who is this wonderful young up-and-coming musician. And she will share some music with us, and we'll talk about her music with her. And so I'm excited that we will have that opportunity. I've never met her, but I think we'll have a lively conversation, and it'll be interesting to all of you, I hope. So I hope you can join us then. And the week after, we will have another well-known guest on Friday. His name is Daya Singh, or Daya Singh, and he's from Australia. And he's a wonderful musician, put out many recordings. He is known for really stepping into what's called world music, bringing in musicians from various different world traditions of music and playing together with them. So that will be very interesting. And then after that, we'll have Prabhanam Kaur, who is the mother of Sanatan Kaur. So I think we're going to have some just wonderful guests on the next 3 Fridays. Not that they're all wonderful, but you know, it'll be very interesting these next 3 for sure. So I hope you'll join us at those programs too. I hope that this has gone well for you, this program. Please let me know if you have any requests or questions, either in the comments or you can also message me if you need to. And so thank you very much for being with us today. And I'm going to close out the program. I hope that you can stay safe, stay healthy, stay home if you can, and be blessed. All right. Satnam, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.